Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is MD Saiful Islam, founder of Saiful English Academy and an assistant teacher of our local high school. And you are most welcome in my Saiful English Academy again, children. How about that? You are very fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I'm so Alhamdulillah. Hope that my children, you watched my previous classes smartly. And with the reference of my previous classes, today's class have been present in front of you with a new arrangement, a new class named discussion about pronoun. Pronoun. So, my dear learners, knowledge, take a look at the board and try to understand. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, in my previous classes, I was trying to show you about various kinds of activities of about noun on kinds of parts of it. And with the reference of my previous classes, today's class have been present included with a new event about pronoun. About pronoun. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, in my previous classes, I was trying to make you understand about definition of noun, classification of noun, and various kinds of relation of various kinds of noun. So, my dear learners, today's class, I am trying to show you about various kinds of things about pronoun. But before starting today's class, I want to say about the topic of today's class. So, my dear learners, and today I'm trying to show you at first definition of pronoun with examples. Definition of pronoun with examples. Okay, my dear learners. Next, secondly, I'm trying to show you about the classification of pronoun. Thirdly, I'm trying to show you about the definition of personal pronoun. Personal pronoun. Next, fourthly, I'm trying to show you about the classification of personal pronoun. Personal pronoun. And finally, I'm trying to show you about forms of personal pronoun. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. At first, I'm trying to show you about the definition of pronoun. If we want to define a pronoun, we can say that, my dear learners, a pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun or a noun equivalent. Equivalent. That means a pronoun is a word. সর্বনাম এমন একটি শব্দ সর্বনাম এমন একটি শব্দ which যেটা is used ব্যবহৃত হয় instead of a noun or a noun equivalent. বিশেষ্য বা বিশেষ্য সমতুল্য কোনো শব্দের পরিবর্তে। দ্যাট মিনস, মাই ডিয়ার লার্নার্স, বিশেষ্য বা বিশেষ্য সমতুল্য কোনো শব্দের পরিবর্তে যে ওয়ার্ডটা আমরা ব্যবহার করে থাকি তাদেরকে আমরা প্রোনাউন বলতে পারি। অফকোর্স ইউ মে মাইন্ড অ্যান্ড ইউ মে ট্রাই টু সেভ ইন ইউর মেমরি, মাই ডিয়ার লার্নার্স, pronoun. Pronoun. If we divide pronoun, we can get the two parts. Pro and noun. Pro and noun. Pro means purve. Pro means purve, and noun means বিশেষ্য or নাম। বিশেষ্য or নাম। দ্যাট মিনস কোনো বিশেষ্য বা কোনো নামের পরিবর্তে যে ওয়ার্ডটা আমরা ব্যবহার করি, যে ওয়ার্ডটা আমরা দেখতে পাই, যে ওয়ার্ডগুলো আমরা ব্যবহার করতে পারি, সেই ওয়ার্ড বা শব্দগুলোকে আমরা কি বলতে পারি বন্ধুরা? অবশ্যই প্রোনাউন বলতে পারে। অফকোর্স ইউ নো দ্যাট ইউ হ্যাভ আন্ডারস্টুড ক্লিয়ারলি। My dear learners, now my question to you: what categories of pronoun? What categories of pronoun? That means, can you gauge how many classification of pronoun? So, hope that you'll be able to reply the questions because if you notice various kinds of books of various kinds of writers, you can see that there are some books we can see where we can see 8 categories of pronoun. There are some books where you can get 10 categories of pronoun. Some books we can see, in some books we can see 11 categories of pronoun. But according to my mind, my dear learners, a pronoun is classified into 11 categories. 11 categories. That you have understood clearly. Number one, personal personal pronoun personal pronoun means ব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম ব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম number 2 non personal pronoun অব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম অব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম next number 3 possessive pronoun অধিকার সূচক or মালিকানা সূচক সর্বনাম number 4, interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronoun. প্রশ্নবোধক সর্বনাম প্রশ্নবোধক সর্বনাম next number 5, relative pronoun সম্পর্ক সূচক অথবা আপেক্ষিক সূচক সর্বনাম আপেক্ষিক সূচক সর্বনাম next number 6, indefinite pronoun অনির্দিষ্ট জ্ঞাপক সর্বনাম অনির্দিষ্ট জ্ঞাপক সর্বনাম next distributive pronoun প্রভেদ সূচক অথবা পার্থক্য সূচক সর্বনাম next we can see my dear learners reflective pronoun আত্মবাচক সর্বনাম next my dear learners in emphatic pronoun জোর আরোপকারী next my dear learners number 10 demonstrative that means নির্দেশ সূচক সর্বনাম and finally number 11 we can say that my dear learners reciprocal pronoun that means পারস্পরিক সম্পর্ক সর্বনাম but in this classification of pronoun I may divide several group and according to this group I am trying to make video class at first my dear learners number 1 in class 1 plus number 1 plus number 1 I'm trying to show you about personal pronoun then my dear learners class number 2 I'm trying to show you about non-personal and possessive pronoun next class number 3 my dear learners I am trying to make a video with interrogative and relative pronoun next my dear learners class number 4 inshallah I am trying to make a video with the indefinite and distributive pronoun in class number 5 I am trying to make a video with reflective and emphatic pronoun and class number 6 I am trying to make a video with demonstrative and reciprocal pronoun so my dear learners today's class in class number 1 inshallah I'm trying to show you about personal pronoun so my dear learners take a look at the board and try to understand of course you know that my dear learners pro means পূর্বে and noun means বিশেষ্য or নাম so my dear learners there are some words you can see in English grammar which are used instead of a noun or a noun equivalent of course to remove the complexity words pronoun I may give some example so my dear learners take a look at the board and try to understand. Swipe is my son. He is 10 years old. Number 2, my dear learners, Raisha Monem is my daughter. She is 2 years old. Number 3, my dear learners, Swipe and Raisha morning of my children. They are very dear to me. Number four, we have a dog in our house. It is a very faithful animal. Okay, my dear learners, that you have understood clearly. To remove some complexity about the pronoun, I have written some example in the board. So, my dear learners, try to look at the board and try to understand. So, what were the things I want you to make you understand? At first, underline swipe and he. I have written about the first example. Swipe is my son. Swipe is my son. That means Swipe আমার ছেলে. Swipe আমার ছেলে. He is 10 years old. 10 years old. তার বয়স 10 বছর. Look at the board and try to understand. Underline the word swipe, of course, a noun, but he. Here, he is used instead of swipe. Of course, he, of course, a pronoun because he is used instead of a noun. He is used instead of a noun. Of that you have understood clearly. Next example, my dear learners, Raisha morning is my daughter. That means Raisha muni amar konna. Raisha muni amar konna. She is 2 years old. That means তার বয়স 2 বছর। Try to understand, my dear learners. Raisamuni is a noun, but she is a pronoun. But my question to you, my dear learners, why she is a pronoun? Because she is used instead of a noun, Raisamuni. In this sense, she is a pronoun. Hope that you have understood clearly. Next example, my dear learners, Swipe and Raisamuni are my children. That means Swipe এবং রাইসামনি আমার সন্তান. Next, they are very dear to me. Dear to me. Underline word Swipe and Raisamuni, of course, noun, but they is a pronoun. But my question to you, why they is a pronoun? Because they is used instead of Swipe and Raisamuni. Hope for that you have understood clearly. Next example, my dear learners, I have written, we have a dog. We have a dog in our house. That means আমাদের বাড়িতে একটি কুকুর আছে. আমাদের বাড়িতে একটি কুকুর আছে. Next, it is a very faithful animal. Animal. That means এটা একটা খুবই বিশ্বস্ত প্রাণী. In this sense, my dear learners, dog is a noun, and instead of a dog, it is used in this sentence. In this sense, it is a pronoun. Of that you have understood clearly. My dear learners, now I am trying to show you about the definition of personal pronoun. Definition of a personal pronoun. Of course, I know that, my dear learners, you know that what means personal pronoun. Hope that you'll be able to reply my question. Personal pronoun means ব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম. ব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম. My dear learners, if we want to define a personal pronoun, we can say that, my dear learners, a personal pronoun is a word. Personal, that means personal pronoun হলো এমন একটি শব্দ which যেটা is used ব্যবহৃত হয় instead of a পারসন একটা ব্যক্তির পরিবর্তে ইন আ সেন্টেন্স। ওকে my dear learners, অর্থাৎ দ্যাট মিনস my dear learners, পার্সোনাল প্রোনাউন যে ওয়ার্ড পার্সোনাল প্রোনাউন হলো ব্যক্তিবাচক সর্বনাম হলো এমন একটি শব্দ হুইচ যেটা ইজ ইউজড ব্যবহৃত হয় ইনস্টেড অফ আ পারসন একটা ব্যক্তির পরিবর্তে ইন আ সেন্টেন্স একটা বাক্যে of that you have understood clearly. Now I am trying to give some example regard this. Mr. Saiful is an English teacher. He is very dear to the students. Number two, my dear learners, Mr. Dulal is an BHA teacher. Mrs. Dulale is a BHA teacher. Sorry, she is very friendly to the students. Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. To clarify about this regard, what's pronoun, I have written two examples, my dear learners. First example, I have written Mr. Saiful is an English teacher. In this sentence, Mr. Saiful, of course, a noun. He is very dear to the students. That means তিনি ছাত্রদের কাছে খুবই প্রিয়। In this sentence, my dear learners, he is used instead of Mr. Saiful. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, Mr. Saiful is a noun, and instead of Mr. Saiful, he is used in this sentence. In this sense, he is a pronoun. He is a pronoun. Of that, you have understood clearly. Next example, my dear learners, Mrs. Dulale. Mrs. Dulale is a BHC teacher. That means Mrs. Dulale is a BHC শিক্ষক. She is very to the students. That means তিনি ছাত্রদের কাছে খুবই বন্ধুভাবাপন্ন। In this sentence, my dear learners, Mrs. Dulale is a noun, but instead of Mrs. Dulale, she is used in this sentence. In this sense, she is a pronoun. Of that, you have understood clearly. Now, my dear learners, I am trying to show you about classification of personal pronoun. Classification of a personal pronoun. I know that, my dear learners, you'll be able to reply my questions. How many kinds of a personal pronoun? But I want to add something here, my dear learners. Take a look at the board and try to understand. We can divide a personal pronoun into three ways. Okay, my dear learners. Number one, personal pronoun of the first person. Number two, personal pronoun of the second person. Next, number three, personal pronoun of the third person. Okay, my dear learners, of that you have understood clearly. Now my question to you, my dear learners, what's a personal pronoun? What's a personal pronoun? I know that, my dear learners, you will be able to reply my questions, but I want to add something here, my dear learners. Take a look at the board and try to understand. Personal pronoun of the first person. Okay, my dear learners, if we want to define a personal pronoun of the first person, we can say that, my dear learners, we can say that, my dear learners, the first one, the person who speaks, who speaks anything in a sentence is called personal pronoun of the first person. Okay, my dear learners, if we want to define as personal pronoun of the first person, we can say that, my dear learners, the person who speaks anything in a sentence or something in a sentence is called the personal pronoun of the first person. That means, in a word, we can say that, my dear learners, the speaker of a sentence is called first person, and such kinds of words which are used at first person in a sentence are called personal pronoun of the first person. Okay, my dear learners, to clarify about this, I may give some example. Okay, my dear learners, I am reading English. Number two, we are learning English. Okay, my dear learners, to clarify about this complexity about something personal pronoun of the first person, I have written two examples, my dear learners. First example, I have written I am reading English. Underline, my dear learners, I. In this sentence, underline the word I, of course, personal pronoun and first personal pronoun of the first person. And example number two, we are learning English. That means আমরা ইংরেজি শিখছি. In this sentence, underline the word we, of course, personal pronoun of the first person. Personal pronoun of the first person. That you have understood clearly. Next, my dear learners, personal pronoun of the second person. Second person. Okay, my dear learners, if we want to define personal pronoun of the second person, we can write that in this way, my dear learners. The person whom are sorry whom are spoken something in a sentence is called personal pronoun of the second person. Okay, my dear learners, that means যাকে উদ্দেশ্য করে কিছু বলা হয়, যাকে উদ্দেশ্য করে কিছু বলা হয়, the person whom are speaking something or in a sentence, একটা সেন্টেন্সে যাকে উদ্দেশ্য করে কিছু বলা হয় are called personal pronoun of the second person. তাকে আমরা কি বলতে পারি বন্ধুরা? অবশ্যই second person বলি. That means in a words we can say a listener in a sentence is called second person, and the words which are used in a sentence or statement as like a second person are called personal pronoun of the second person. Of that you have understood clearly. Now I am writing a example. Okay, my dear learners, you are a good boy. That means, my dear learners, তুমি একজন ভালো ছেলে, তুমি একজন ভালো ছেলে. In this sentence, underline the word you. Of course, a second person. Of course, a second person. Of that you have understood clearly. Now, my question to you, my dear learners, what personal pronoun of the third person? Third person. I know that, my dear learners, you will be able to reply my question, but I want to add something in the midst of your answer, my dear learners. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. If we want to define it, personal pronoun of the third person, we can write that, my dear learners. Personal pronoun of the third person is called a person, is called a person for whom, for whom something is said, something is said in a sentence, in a sentence. Okay, my dear learners, if we want to define a personal pronoun of the third person, we can write that, my dear learners, or we can say that, my dear learners, the personal pronoun of the third person is called a person for whom something is said in a sentence. That means, if we translate in Bengali, we can say that, my dear learners, কোনো সেন্টেন্স বা বাক্যে যার সম্পর্কে কিছু বলা হয়, যার সম্পর্কে কিছু বলা হয় তাকে আমরা থার্ড পারসন personal pronoun of the third person বলতে পারি. Okay, my dear learners, of that you have understood clearly. Of course, I may write some example for you. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. He is a good boy. She is my friend. They are my friends. Okay, my dear learners, etc. To clarify about the any problem about personal pronoun of the third person, I have written three examples, my dear learners. So take a look at the board and try to understand. First example, I have written, he is a good boy. That means সে একজন ভালো ছেলে, সে একজন ভালো ছেলে. In this sentence, he, of course, the third person. And next, number two, she is my friend. সে আমার বান্ধবী. সে আমার বান্ধবী. In this sentence, underline word, she is third person, for personal pronoun of the third person. And third example, they are my friends. They are my friends. তারা আমার বন্ধু. In this sentence, underline word they is third person singular number. Of course, I will teach you tips. Teach you tips. Tips. In shortly, I can say I want to suggest to you first person I, we, second person you, and except third person all categories of things, persons, places, etc. except I, we, and you. Okay, my dear learners, if you want to remember the person, you have to mind that, my dear learners, I, we, first person. I, we is called first person. You is called the second person. And except I, we, and you, all categories of things, animals, etc. in this world are called third person. Of course, that person has two forms. That person has two forms: singular and plural. Okay, singular means ekbochon, plural means bohochon. Of that you have understood clearly. Now, my last question to you, my dear learners, how many forms of a personal pronoun? Of that you'll be able to reply my questions, but I want to add something here. Form of personal pronoun. We'll have to mind that, my dear learners, there are three types or forms of personal pronoun, such as subjective form. Next, number two, objective form, and number three, possessive form. Okay, my dear learners. Now I am trying to give some example regarding this. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Um, how that you will be able to reply my questions. Can you say, my dear learners, how many words can we consider first person? How many words can we consider second person? How many words can we get the third person? How that you have understood clearly? I am trying to show this category of example through a chart. Show a chart. First, subjective. Second, objective. Third, possessive. Of course, you will have to mind that, my dear learners. Possessive has two forms. Possessive has two forms. Possessive pronoun, and possessive adjective. Okay, my dear learners, there are two types of possessive, such as possessive pronoun and possessive adjective. Hope that you have understood clearly. I am trying to show you about forms of personal pronoun through a chat. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. I, oi, you, he, she, they. Okay, my dear learners, we know that objective form of subject I, of course, me, and possessive pronoun mine, and possessive adjective, of course, mine. Okay, my dear learners, we'll have to mind that. We, objective form us, possessive form ours. Okay, and possessive pronoun will be ours. Next, you, yours, and your. Okay, my dear learners, he, him, his, she, her, hers, her, they, them, theirs, there. Okay, my dear learners, you have to mind that, my dear learners, this chart is very important for changing voice, changing narration, and changing sentence. Okay, my dear learners, you have to mind that there are three forms of personal pronoun. Personal pronoun: subjective, objective, possessive. Again, there are two types of possessive. Possessive pronoun and possessive adjective. You will mind that, my dear learners, because this category of chart is very important to transform voice from active to passive, to change narration from direct to indirect, and to change various kinds of sentence. Okay, my dear learners, you'll have to mind that, my dear learners. I, me, my, mine. I, me, mine, mine. I, me, mine, mine. Try to memorize with me instantly, my dear learners, and try to save in your memory. I, me, mine, mine. We, us, ours, our. We, us, ours, our. You, yours, your. You, yes, your. He, him, his. He, him, his. She, her, hers, her. She, her, hers, her. They, them, theirs, their. They, them, theirs, their. Hope that you have understood clearly. I don't want to learn today's class, but I want to share something new before finishing my today's class. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, I'm a new tutor or new teacher in YouTube channels, and though I'm Bangladeshi by birth, but I'm trying to use English conversation at the time of my making various kinds of videos classes. So, my dear learners, if you notice any faults or mistakes in the midst of my video class, please excuse me and pray to Almighty Allah for me so that I can help you, I can serve you, I can cooperate in this way through my video classes throughout my life. So, my dear learners, no more today. Come to stay again with a new alternative new class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.